Good morning. We're the Eagles. Today we'll be talking about Joe Gebbia and Brian Chesky, the founders of Airbnb.
So the background of Brian Chesky. So he was born in New York. Both of his parents were social workers. Brian's father was of the Polish descent and his mother was of the Italian origin. He attended Rhode Island School of Design, and from an early age he was always interested in art, paintings, designing and redesigning shoes and toys. That then led to landscape architectural and design interest. He actually met Joe in college. So Joe, he's born in Atlanta, Georgia. He graduated from the Rhode Island School of Design, same as Brian. His degree was in graphic design and industrial design. He also had business coursework of Brown University and MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And they actually roomed together. Getting out of college, Joe convinced Brian to come live with him in San Francisco. Traits and skills of Airbnb leadership. So we have boldness, shamelessness, humility, humbleness, mentorship. Brian and Joe both sought opportunities to lecture and mentor other entrepreneurs. They were very value-driven and leadership-focused on community empowerment, community engagement, when dealing with company conflicts and issues that arose with landlords and city government. They showed a lot of humility. And so both Joe and Brian are part of the Giving Pledge. This is a select group of billionaires who are committed to give the majority of their wealth away. Joe and Brian have exemplified humbleness by giving a lot of donations to their old colleges and through this foundation. They both sought a lot of counsel from top experts in fields that they needed to learn about, like Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook. They acknowledge their missteps, and then they go big in response. They give out a lot of tips about obsessing about culture and taking a stand. Specifically, when President Trump issued this executive order banning immigration from 7 predominantly Muslim countries, Airbnb was one of the first business leaders who pushed back. Chesky came out on Twitter against the ban and in a letter to employees announcing that Airbnb would offer free housing to anyone that was impacted. The company then followed up with a Super Bowl ad that took a dig at the policy. They promised to provide temporary housing to 100,000 displaced people over the next 5 years and a donation to the IRC of $4 million over 4 years. So Chesky stressed this ban that goes against Airbnb's purpose, which is to create a world where anyone can belong. A lot of experience helped contribute to the development of Airbnb, which was first titled Air Bed and Breakfast. Brian and Joe couldn't make rent, and all the hotels were booked as a result of a large design conference that was coming to San Francisco. So Joe sent Brian an email that said, hey, let's charge people $80 to sleep on an air mattress in our room and in our home, and we will include breakfast. So they did that, and this is significant because this is the start of Airbnb. So fast forward a couple years, and they are invited to join a prestigious startup accelerator that doles out cash and training in exchange for a small slice of the company. And this is significant because they learned a lot of things at this conference, but they also were denied funding. People couldn't get past the name. They were kind of looked over in this conference. So they still couldn't get investors, so they transformed cereal boxes to Obama O's and Captain McCain's and sold them on the streets for about $40. And this was a very strong marketing strategy because they came with a limited edition number and information about their company. So by now they were getting investors, and they actually picked up a $600,000 investment from Sequoia Capital. And after that, the company was picking up. Chesky lived exclusively in Airbnbs for a few months because all their employees were living in their home. So he stayed at these Airbnbs, wrote reviews, took professional shots, and then this kind of kick-started a lot of the business.
Chesky and Gebbia, who now have a lot of experience under their belts, know that if you want to build a strong company, you have to build a talented team with shared values. Chesky even goes on to state that he feels an entrepreneur should work with people that are so talented that they may even be a little intimidating. This often pushes entrepreneurs to better themselves and contribute more to the team. Oftentimes, being an effective leader is shown through attitude. Chesky humbly revealed that his Airbnb company gathered a lot of inspiration and learned a lot of skills from companies such as Apple, Amazon, Nike, and Zappos, so it is important for entrepreneurs to never be afraid to get some outside help. To Chesky and Gebbia, customer engagement is also very important. When first starting out, the team decided to visit their first 100 customers in order to gain insights on how they could improve their company. The customers were vital, in which they suggested ways to improve Airbnb's website, such as adding more details into the room descriptions and taking better pictures of the rooms in order to rent them out faster. This personal tactic allowed Chesky and Gebbia to build a relationship with their clients as well as work on bettering their company. Lastly, Chesky stated that he takes his hiring process very seriously. He finds it to be of utmost importance that his team is diverse in ideas and backgrounds, but says that a strong team must share similar values. When first starting out, Chesky and Gebbia lacked in effectiveness due to the fact that they both considered themselves designers rather than businessmen. They initially built their legacy as an attempt to make extra cash as designers, so sitting down and constructing actual business operations was not either of their strong suits. However, by hiring experienced personnel, they learned the tricks of the trade and turned their overnight idea into a billion-dollar empire. If Chesky and Gebbia were to have had prior business experience before starting their company, they may have been able to avoid their initial debts and failures. Additionally, during the first few years of Airbnb's development, Chesky admits that his company felt that it wasn't responsible for every individual Airbnb room that was rented out. Therefore, the company kept a loose leash on the host, which often led to lower quality rooms and service. Due to these deficits, the company lost money by having to reimburse unsatisfied customers who left bad reviews on the site. In a more recent interview, however, Chesky states how his company intends to start doing house visits again like it did when Airbnb first started, in order to keep tabs and review the rooms to make sure they are fit for travelers.
Would Airbnb founders be effective in another organization? Before Airbnb, they had come up with other ideas that had also made money. It made around $30,000 to $40,000, but right now Airbnb is making way more money than they did with that other company. They're also very strategic, intelligent with their money and ideas and how they use that stuff, and they are able to build a brand from nothing. They built Airbnb into a billion-dollar company in 12 years, and they started selling rooms from their houses for about $80 when they first began. So some more information about Airbnb. Airbnb has 7 million listings that are worldwide. Brian Chesky is ranked 4th in America's richest entrepreneurs under 40. Airbnb contains 31 offices worldwide. These offices are obviously, because they have 7 million plus listings, so they are able to contact each other from each countries and whatnot and put new listings on or take listings off that people wanted. And then another really interesting fact is that there are 2,400 tree houses that are listed on Airbnb's website.
If we take anything from Chesky and Gebbia, it should be to always make time for a creative outlet. These guys set up 3 mattresses in their apartment and served Pop-Tarts for breakfast and still made money off of it. If they would have stuck to a traditional or formal plan, their Airbnb company might have never happened. Another thing we can learn from Chesky and Gebbia is to make your company unique. And not only your company, but the way your company operates. Find something that no other company is doing and make it your own. Just like Chesky and Gebbia visited their first 100 customers to make sure that their company was running correctly. Not a lot of business owners will personally visit their customers and ask them questions and get their input while being there on the spot. So just like Chesky and Gebbia made personal interaction their unique feature for their company, find something unique to your company and use it as an advantage. The last thing we could learn from Chesky and Gebbia is to always surround yourself with people who are just as creative and determined as you are, if not even more so. These people will push us to become better. These people will push us to become better leaders and workers and teammates, and they will challenge us to push ourselves to our limits and beyond.
The actions and concepts the Airbnb founders use certainly relate back to class. Leadership involves taking responsibility for all failures and successes. Chesky shared that leaders must instill their goals and purposes to all involved be organized, be creative, and to be able to lead a group towards the common goal. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us.